delicious. All right? So Friday night, I asked my dad for the car. And what does my dad say to me because he loves me? He says, yes, he loves me, right? So he tosses me the keys. I go out, pick with my friends. I fill up the car with gas. I come home before curfew. And my father says, I have what kind of an attitude? A positive or a good attitude. What do I say about my dad's attitude? Skeptic. That is skeptic? What do I say about his attitude?
Must be good.
He must be good. He gave me the keys, right? So he's got a good attitude. I have a good attitude. Now Sunday rolls along. My best friend Dexter calls me and says, Andre, can you pick me up for the movies? What do I know about Sunday? Church all day, right? Church all day. And so I already know what the answer is, but I'm thinking, Jesus is my friend. I can call on him. He'll answer prayers, right? So I go up to my dad and say, Dad, can I borrow the car? And what does my dad say?
No.
Not only does he say no, but he gives me a lecture about how I'm leading people to hell, right? Every negative consequence in my household, the ultimate consequence was hell. And either you could go on your own or my parents would be glad to send you there. So I asked my dad for the car. He says, no. I say my dad has what kind of an attitude? A bad attitude. And what does he then say about my attitude? That I have a bad attitude. So here's where sometimes we get lost. What is it that actually determined the attitude? The action?
Whether you get what you want.
It is if you get what you want. When you get what you want, you have a good attitude. When you're denied access to what you want, you have a bad attitude. I just want you to think about a teenager that you know. Right? It could be you, it could be someone in your family. When they don't get what they want, they have what my grandmother would call a funky attitude. Right? That just, you do not want to be around them. I mean, all the stuff that teenagers do, right? At the same time, you give them what they want, and it's as if they purr, right? They want to cuddle up to you. Oh, you're just such the best, and all that kind of stuff. Have you ever seen that happen? Yeah. Why? Because they had access to what it is that they want. So if I'm out in the community, or if people are coming to my station from the community and they have a bad attitude, what's the one thing that I know about them for sure?
Didn't get what they want.
They're not getting what they want. And so at that point, as a public servant, I have a two-part responsibility. The easiest way to help them change their attitude is to do what?
Give them what they want.
Help them get what they want, right? So if I help them get what they want, they'll have a good attitude. But let's say they want something that's not within the confines of my responsibility, or they can't handle it, or it's something that's too big for them. What then becomes my responsibility? What's that? Refer them to somebody else, okay?
Educate them.
Educate them.
Figure out how to help them get what they want.
Help them get what they want, right? Because if I have goals or I have expectations for somebody, more than likely they will do what?
Change that.
Right. But if I establish some rules for somebody, how do they respond to that? Yeah, negatively, right? So my job then becomes to help them figure out how to get what they want. And sometimes that might mean referring them to somebody else. It also might mean that I take a little extra time and ask some probing questions about what it is that they want and how we can help them. One of the worst questions that customer service people can ask is, can I help you? Anybody been asked that question before in a service place? I think that's one of the dumbest questions. Because you're paid to help me. I came here because you can help me. Now, how can I help you is a different kind of question. All right? So, we're going to move on. What I want you to do on the piece of paper that's in front of you, I want you to draw 5 circles. that are big enough to put information inside of. So 5 circles. And in each one of those circles, I want you to put one thing that you value, one thing that you value or that's important to you. It could be a place, it could be a person, it could be a role that you have, it could be a concept like freedom or peace. 5 things that you value, one in each of those circles. All right? One thing that you value in each of those circles. It's okay to cheat. It's okay to cheat. I know that 5th one can be a stretch this early in the morning. All right. Cool. All right, so what I'd like to do is I'd like for us to play a game. And the game is very simple. What I want you to do is I want you to find 2 people for each one of your circles. And I want you to find individuals who either agree with what you have on your paper or they actually have that on their paper as well. All right? So either they agree with what you have on your paper, they say, oh yeah, I like that. That's something I can agree with. Or they actually have it on their paper. Once you have those individuals, I want them to put their initials inside of the circle. All right? So 2 people for each one of your circles. Don't start yet. I want to give everybody the same amount of time. So any questions? On your mark, get set, go.
I know I ain't gonna get that one. How about you call us?